Welcome to Burnley's Newsreel 1997. As Burnley began the new year, hundreds of families became aware of redundancies at the Prestige factory in Burnley. After keeping many families in employment for so many years, it all came to an end as it seemed a takeover bid was in progress. As our newsreel reporters gathered information around the town, they came across Hammerton Street, which had been flowing freely, not with beer, but with water, as we catch the workmen moving in to repair the burst water main. Although the problem is being dealt with, the damage has already affected local traders, with the lack of customers. January also saw the sad passing away of a well-known figure in Burnley, Mr. Sam Hanna. He gathered much interest with his historical and educational films and seemed to have the gift of being in the right place at the right time.
Yes, marching through Burnley. This was Salute the Soldier Week, and we were paying tribute not only to our own soldiers but to this contingent of Americans. The Queen, or as we know her now, the Queen Mother, and our Mayoress, Mrs. Taylor.
Mr. Sam Hanna. On the 10th of February, time in Burnley stood still, or at least the town hall clock did. As it approached 5:55, the clock stopped. It's believed that the problem was so rare, a Swiss clock team had to be called in. As time eventually moved on to March the 7th, the Mayor of Pendle, Councillor Frank Clifford, organised a charity gala evening at the Municipal Hall in Colne in aid of the Pendle Hospice Fund.
This year a little bit different than normal years from a normal civic ball. We're having a gala charity concert. Could you tell me why?
Yes, I thought that after a number of years, many years in fact, of having a Mayor's Gala ball, it had got a bit stale. The food hadn't, I might add. That was always very good. But I thought that it would be nice to have a gala charity musical evening and set it out in cabaret style, just for a change.
And the charity that you're supporting this year?
Well, it's the Burnley and Pendle Hospice. As you may know, it's been 8 years now where they've raised money of the public of Burnley and Pendle to start to build. They've built the hospice, and now we're looking to support it with revenue on costs. Every building and every service needs money coming in to support the service that's there. The building's but one thing. So we're here and about looking to, well, loosen wallets and let people have a nice time and contribute to a worthwhile cause.
And have you a figure that you're aiming at in your year of office?
Well, we've not set a particular target. The Mayoress has had a committee going of ladies that have been working all year, having many functions, many varied functions, and been raising much money, and we're very grateful to all the people in Pendle for the work that they've put in helping us to a goal. Whether we raise 10,000, 12,000, 9,000, I cannot know. What I do know is that the Mayoress has been working very hard with her committee. I've been working very hard, and I'm sure at the end of the day we'll have made a worthwhile contribution.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much indeed.
From school and listen at Monday lunchtime to Workers' Playtime. Who remembers Workers' Playtime? Come on, Arnold. There we go, wonderful. Eh? In fact, there isn't an occasion better suited to this than relate one of Albert's stories, because he was once at a civic function in the Midlands, and he walked to the front of the stage, and his rough, gruff delivery, he said, "We have a mayor up in Morecambe than us." He said, "He don't have a chain though, we let him run loose." But he used to say, silly things used to say, there's a fellow walking down a country lane t'other day, and he come across this here farmer leaning on a gate. And he says to the farmer, he says, "Hey, if I cut across yon field to the station, will I catch 4.15? And the farmer said, "Aye, if bull's out, they'll catch 3.45.
We leave the Mayor and his guests to enjoy the rest of the evening. A week later, on March the 15th, the army moved into town, with the 1st and 4th Battalions of the Queen's Lancashire Regiment exercising their right, privilege and honour of marching within the borough. With all drums beating, bands playing, colours flying and bayonets fixed. As the troops made their way through the town, they were greeted by a large number of townfolk showing their appreciation. The Mayor of Burnley was present along with Councillor Peter Pike and other official dignitaries as they watched the fine display of troops march past the town hall. Easter moved upon us as children of Higham Primary School made their own Easter contribution to the festival.
We chose Resurrection Rock as our contribution to the Higham exhibition so that we could get the children involved in community links with the church. We chose it because it's lively music and the children can relate to it, and I think through their performance they have got the message of Easter, the sadness, the joy, the serious aspects as well as the lively aspects of Easter. And I think music is a really good way of getting through to people, both emotionally and in their minds as well. They have responded to the adults and their performances, and it's lifted them. So I'm really looking forward to a good performance.
It's amazing grace, he's so high, thought I'd never see. He's so high, thought I'd never see. He's so high, thought I'd never.
It looks like trouble at the Saunderbank Health Centre as a bomb threat alerted the emergency services. Luckily, it turned out to be a hoax, but precautions still had to be undertaken. On the 28th of April this year, flags were flying and crowds were gathering as the Grenfell Textile Company, based in Burnley, were the host to royalty, with a visit from Her Royal Highness Princess Anne. Grenfell has long-standing traditions with the royal family, and the princess saw for herself how the fine clothing is made. Mr. David Haythornthwaite, the Managing Director, presented Her Royal Highness with a cheque to the value of £1,500 for the Princess's charity, Save the Children Fund.
I'd like to present you with a sample of our product so that you can remember your visit here to Grenfell.
Why are they anxious?
Can I ask you to unveil commemoration of yours?
As Princess Anne says her goodbyes and departs from the town, we take a visit to the town hall, where on the 14th of May, the mayor-making ceremony with the inauguration of the mayor and mayoress took place.
Please sit down.
This year, on our victory, distinguished guests, members of the council, officers, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this, our Burnley annual general meeting of the Borough Council. Welcome to you. Item number 1, election of mayor. I call upon the councillors on Dealwood to move the election of Councillor Ian State as the mayor of the borough and chair of the council for the ensuing.
A special guest this year was the Mayor of Vittery.
having been elected to the office of Mayor of the Borough of Burnley, hereby declare that I take that office upon myself and will duly and faithfully fulfil the duties of it according to the best of my judgment and ability.
Can I finally ask members and guests to stay in their seats for a few minutes until after the Mayor has retired to the park.
As the Mayor closed the meeting for another year, participants in the Woodland Festival at Towneley Park demonstrated environmental ways of life to the community. Skills on show were chair bodging, willow weaving and charcoal burning. The event was officially opened by actor John McCarthy.
Come on, Evan.
Wandering, escape, moving into the natural environment. Carving rather than scraping at it.
Well, it's a Woodlands experience, and it's been created by young people at Stoops and Hardycroft Community Centre here in Burnley, which is probably an area that is under regeneration and will benefit, hopefully, from this major project that's taking place here in Burnley with the planting of trees and the creating of new woodlands. The first part of the environment, as we go into the last tree, really a tree stump. This represents a tree stump, the last tree in Burnley, a rather rotten old tree it is. We enter a world which is devoid of trees, of natural habitat. And it'd be worthwhile stopping slowly and looking at yourself in the reflections in which you'll see a world with no green, just you, nothing else. But thanks to the hard work and effort and creativity of the young people at Stoops and Hardycroft Community Centre, life springs up. Seeds. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Julian. So can I hand over now to John, who will say a few words and then do the deed for us. Thank you, John.
Okay. Good morning. Thanks for coming along. Julian's done most of the explaining, and then the rest of the explaining to the Mayor. And I'd just like to say, I came to this area about 15 years ago. And one thing that struck me about that, and I'd never been here before until I met my wife, who was a local lass, was how beautiful the countryside was. And I thought you didn't need any more trees, but there you go, I'm from Liverpool, and we need loads of forests. But I think it's a good event to make everybody aware of preservation of existing woodlands and the planting of new ones. And it'll be a good day to do it. We've got some good music, we've got crafts, there's all sorts of a band on. So have a really good day, and thanks for coming along. So now I shall declare the Burnley Woodland Festival open.
With the event now well and truly underway, HAPPA Horses and Ponies Protection Association had a nice surprise in June as one of their horses gave birth to a foal. Mr. George Jones gives details.
Good afternoon and welcome to Horse and Pony Protection Association's Northern Farm at Shores Hay, Burnley. My name is George Jones. I'm the Northwest Field Officer for the Horse and Pony Protection Association. We are a charity which looks after the welfare of horses and ponies and donkeys throughout England and Wales. We look to complaints which we receive from members of the public about horses that they believe are either neglected or ill-treated, that sort of thing. My job as a field officer would be to go out and inspect those horses, and if I think there is the horse is sufficiently poorly that there could be a case of neglect, then I would get a vet and the local police involved. If the vet, who is the expert, is of the opinion that there is a cruelty involved and that there's a possibility of a prosecution, the vet will authorise the animal to be removed to a place of safety, i.e. a farm like this. The police would then interview the owner of that animal and there would be a prosecution pending. The Horse and Pony Protection Association's main reason of being is not as a prosecution arm, but the welfare of horses, ponies and donkeys.
Yeah. The foal we saw earlier, when was that a grand arrival?
Oh, that was our grand arrival of last week. That pony is a week old. She was born here last Thursday. Her dam, her mother, was with her Penny, was one of 5 horses or 5 ponies brought in very poor conditions from Staffordshire last year. She certainly doesn't look poor now, and that's down to the dedication of the staff here. And we've now got a beautiful little foal, which we're hopeful that the local, we're running a competition with the local children, local school children, to find a suitable name for her. So we'll get a pile of entries, we hope, and then the staff here will choose the name they think most apt.
On the 14th of June, a great carnival day was to attract hundreds of people into the town centre, with the rekindling of the King Cotton Festival. Great entertainment throughout the day brought us street dances, reenactments, period dress displays with street plays, clog dances, and even people playing with fire.
You got everything wrong, Mr. Punch, but you didn't, so give yourselves a big clap.
I will obey, and by sword I hope to win the day. I've fought the fiery dragon and brought him to slaughter, and by that means I was the king of Egypt's daughter.
Really spectacular. Really spectacular. What the scene impersonation. Ring your bell. These clubs are completely different way. Oh, hey. Hold up, hold up.
The gospel singers made way for the brass band. highlight of the day was the crowning of the King, and this year, the Queen of Cotton. The last Cotton Queen, 79-year-old Jamie Smith, crowned the new Queen, 11-year-old Alison Nicholas, along with the new Cotton King, 10-year-old Darren Slack. Since early this year, work has been in progress to relaunch a type of entertainment that hasn't been seen in Burnley for a number of years. The old Do-It-All site, situated on Manchester Road, was being transformed into the new Hollywood Park Cinema Complex. The manager of the complex gave us more details of the venture.
Have you any idea how much it costs to build this particular screen? You know, the particular...
The actual building,
the actual building.
The actual contents and everything within the screen, cinema, sorry, is roughly about £5.5 million.
Yeah. And how much do you think one of the projectors would cost? Bearing in mind you've got 9 of them.
The projection room took a lot of the lump of the £5.5–6 million. Basically, £40,000 per projector. That's just for the projector. You're not talking about the platters or the amplifiers and one thing or another.
Yeah. And how many seats have you got in the whole of the cinema?
The cinema holds 1,569 seats in total.
Yeah.
Take a seat here there.
Right. And broken down, how many in your main?
Well, briefly broken down, the two main auditoriums hold 356 seats. Training projectionists right to present day.
Right. And how many staff are you likely to be?
At the moment, we're going to run on 35 to 40 staff, but obviously it all depends on level of business, which I think, to be quite honest, the wages, not the wages, the staffing will go up by maybe another 4 or 5.
The main event was held in July, with the official opening by Philip Schofield.
I'm just sneaking in. I've got
In August, Roy Barraclough, alias Alec Gilroy, slipped away from the Rovers to open Burnley's new Specsave. This brings Newsreel 97 to an end. Burnley Cine and Video Society would like to thank all those who contributed material. And who knows, in Newsreel 98, it could be you.